most importantly, a new dad. So my life is very different than it was 11 months ago. And in that process, I started buying a bunch of things that I hadn't bought recently. And I was like, wait, is that how much this actually costs? And kind of that was the aha moment for me in coming out and building the company I've launched called Stretch, which is maybe the easiest way to think about it is like a smart grocery shopping list. I knew how much things cost at the store I was at, but how much does it cost at the store on the other side of town, or how much does it cost in the other neighborhood?
I definitely think that any transitional moment in our lives, right? Like birth of a child, death, divorce, like loss of a job, like any of these big buckets, these are all opportunities for us to take a look again and kind of realign our finances. Like, are we in alignment with what we're looking for? Are we doing things in a way that are intentional? When it comes to financial mastery, it is so important that we are adjusting and looking at these things. Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Financial Mastery Simplified. I am your host, Jax Crider. Today we have Andy. He's developed a super cool app. I'm going to let him tell you a little bit more about it. So welcome, Andy. Tell us a little bit more about who you are, what you do, why you're excited to be on the show today.
Yeah, Jax, thanks so much for having me on. I am, maybe most importantly, a new dad. So my life is very different than it was 11 months ago. And in that process, I started buying a bunch of things that I hadn't bought recently. And I was like, wait, is that how much this actually costs? And kind of that was the aha moment for me in coming out and building the company that I've launched called Stretch, which is maybe the easiest way to think about it is like a smart grocery shopping list. I knew how much things cost at the store I was at, but how much does it cost at the store on the other side of town, or how much does it cost in the other neighborhood? And I just kept thinking to myself, all that information exists. Why is it not organized in a way that's easy for me to be able to understand and compare? I compare almost everything else that I purchase, right? If I'm buying a flight back to Texas to see my dad for Father's Day, I go on Kayak or Expedia and I look at all my choices and I see what my options are. And so that's kind of the question that I was asking in my head is like, why can't I do that for my groceries? And it turns out grocery data is not very readable. It's kind of intentionally opaque. And the grocery industry for a long time has kind of enjoyed the fact that it knew more about us than we knew about it. And so that was kind of the mission that I jumped out on. And so we launched Stretch, which is a free app. And we're helping people save money on their groceries by having transparency from your home. So before you even leave your house, you know, at this store, it costs 110, at this store, it's 130, and at this store, it's 150. And you can make the choice, what's the biggest priority for you this week? So that's the way that I think about myself. But it all kind of kicked off with this big transition I've been in, becoming a dad.
Well, first of all, I love that because I definitely think that any transitional moment in our lives, right? Like birth of a child, death, divorce, like loss of a job, like any of these big buckets, these are all opportunities for us to take a look again and kind of realign our finances. Like, are we in alignment with what we're looking for? Are we doing things in a way that are intentional? You know what I mean? All of this stuff, because all of those big life situations, they come with a lot of financial transition, right? Like we're either spending more money, like in your case, because now we have a new person in our lives, right? We are separating things out, right? We're kind of splitting things up. Somebody, like I said, has passed away or we've lost a job. So now our money situation is very different. And when it comes to financial mastery, I mean, it is so important that we are adjusting and looking at these things. And what a powerful app. I mean, I was telling you a little bit before the show, I'm very, very blessed in twofold. Like number one, I'm really good at math. And so I naturally see numbers and like kind of have a better and clear understanding of them. Like, what does this cost, you know, and all these different kinds of things or whatever, as well as I was raised with a mother who she actually, even though we were not poor, she grew up poor. And so due to this, she was very, very diligent, especially when it came to food, on how she stretched a dollar. How did she
100%.
actively make sure that she was purchasing things when they were on sale? Or how do we, you know, make a meal that might have different components for multiple days of the week or things like this, right? That can kind of stretch that money. And I think that a lot of Americans, with what's happening lately in the last few years with inflation, right? I mean, this has made things go up a lot in price, as well as the old adage that people believe they're bad with math. But I actually very, very much agree with you. I think that it's not necessarily people being bad with math because, okay, great, maybe that wasn't your strongest subject in school. Okay, fair. But you're right. They make things very vague. And I'm going to give you a very, very specific instance where even myself, who, again, I'm good at math, when I'm comparing two different products to decide, am I buying this or this, one will have the breakout of how much it costs in ounces, and the other one will have the breakout maybe in servings or in some other
Yep.
component. And so then
Yep.
you're trying to compare the two, and you actually have to go back and look and be like, okay, so this one's in ounces. I have to make this one in ounces too. How do I do that? Okay, here's the cost divided by the ounces amount. Now I can compare apples to apples. And it shouldn't be that hard, right? Like it just shouldn't be that hard.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that that's been one of the most interesting challenges that we've had to solve for with Stretch is, easiest way to think about it. You give me your shopping list for the week, and then Stretch goes out and searches every local store to see which store has the best options for you. But not every store carries every product.
Right.
And so we had to build an equivalency engine, right? So a swapping brain, so it understands that when you say this thing at Trader Joe's, which is not carried anywhere else,
Right.
here's what the equivalent would be at Whole Foods, and here's what the equivalent would be at Walmart, and here's what the equivalent would be at Dollar General. And those
Right.
are all very different structures as far as the items are concerned. But that's what, sounds like your mom and my mom, they were doing it themselves with, this kind of ninja brain. And the retailers have gotten very savvy in how they price things, how they market things. And so it's feels like it's the retailers against us, and we're just trying to feed our families.
Right.
And I know a lot of people that work at grocery stores, and they're amazing people, and they're just doing their job. But
Sure.
now with electronic shelf tags and all these, coupons and discounts and deals and loyalty, it's like, how do I even keep track? And so that's what we're trying to do with Stretch is not just get all that information and organize it better for you, but save you a lot of time doing it. Because I know a lot of people have their own systems for doing it today, and they download every app and they put it all into a spreadsheet, and then they figure it all out. We're just trying to do it all in one place, just like you can, Expedia for travel, Zillow for homes, Auto Trader for cars. This is not a new playbook, but it's the first time it's ever been brought to grocery.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and then remind yourself, like when our moms were doing this, let's be so real, like there was not nearly as many products, as many stores, as much marketing and like algorithms running in the back end and all of this different stuff. And so I'm going to be so real with you. Most of the time, what I find, especially so I do mortgage for a living. That's my main gig, right? And what you find a lot of times is that the actual process of like doing the thing, right? Like getting the mortgage. So me telling you, okay, Andy, I need these 10 documents or whatever. That's not the hard part. It's the mental gymnastics of you jumping through all the hoops of, first of all, now we usually have a lot of, two family working households, right? So like way back when we might have had one person staying at home, traditionally the woman, but could have been the man too, right? Whatever. And so now we've got two people both out in the world working, and it takes a lot of mental energy just first to figure out, okay, like what is it that we're going to eat this week, right? Like what are we cooking? What do we have capacity and time for that? Then there's like the mental gymnastics of making the actual list. Like how do we make that list and figure out what are we making? What does it need? Like what are the ingredient list, right? Like is there any overlap between this recipe and this recipe and like all of that? Which thank goodness for programs like, ChatGPT, or even like I was telling you earlier, the Passionate Penny Pincher, who lays a lot of those things out for you to make it simpler. But so then you have that. And then there's the added layer of, okay, now I don't want to spend $1 jillion on this list I just created. Like, how do I figure out, should I be going to Costco or Sam's Club, Aldi, Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, Kroger, whatever it is? Like the way that I personally have handled this over the course of time prior to your app, which I am definitely going to kind of play around with it because I love anything that simplifies my life in any capacity, is I would literally say, okay, I'm going to go to either Sam's or Costco. I would usually pick one, make the list of everything I know I can get there, or most of what I know that I can get there, right? Make that list out, or have it delivered, because I actually have a membership where my stuff can get delivered to my door. And then next, I would go to Aldi because they're usually the next cheapest choice for me.
Yep.
And so I would get whatever I can there. And then if there was 2 or 3 weird ingredients that like just pretty much nobody else carry because they're not super mainstream, then I would have to go to a Kroger, a Market Street, some more specialized store to be able to select said ingredient. And a lot of people think I'm nuts because they'd say, well, that's 3 different stores. And I'm like, you're right. It is 3 different stores. And that might not be the best choice for everybody. But for me, because I only did grocery shopping usually once every 2 weeks, I just set it up. I had my thing. I bam, 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 handled what I needed to handle and moved down the path.
Yeah. No, I think that it is amazing that everybody has their way of doing it.
Sure.
But I think that one of the other things that's been really interesting for us is 90% of people shop with a grocery list of some kind,
Yes.
right? But if you think about what happens to those grocery lists after you've checked out, you throw them away, you delete them, it gets stuck in your text messages with your spouse, and then you go rebuild it all again next week.
Right.
And what we're saying is that with the technology that we're building, we remember what you've purchased in the past, and we're going to start to be able to look for your favorite things on sale places. We're going to be able to actually go out and be proactive on your behalf. That's what's coming next. And so the more that you use Stretch, the smarter it gets about your preferences. Because you think about what most e-commerce experiences, you have to pick the exact item at each store.
Right. Yep.
What we're saying is you build your list, and when you write milk, that probably means something different for you than it does for me, right? For
Absolutely.
us, it's unsweetened almond milk, but I still write milk on the shopping list.
Right.
Stretch gets to know that, and it can find the most like product at each of the other stores for my intention. And so the more you use it, it actually turns into a smarter, your buddy.
Yeah.
It's the scout that goes out and does the work for you. And then when you're ready to go to the store, you're like, all right, where should I go this week? And it shows you. And so we've actually have a lot of shoppers like you who, all right, here's my Costco list, here's my Aldi list, and here's my Kroger list. But if they shop those lists, it probably still is going to say this is the store that you should go to. Right. Or sometimes it might be like, hey, 4 of the things that you have on that list are actually on sale at a store that's closer to you.
Nice.
This week, go to this one, right? And so being able to understand that, and especially now you mentioned the price of groceries, it's up 35%.
Yeah, that's
since
crazy.
The pandemic, right? And there's no sign that it's going down. And so we're trying to build this this company and get it out to as many people as fast as possible, because we're all feeling it.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, a good example, like, a lot of people, like my family, we do like to eat out some, but eating out has got really crazy. And why? Same exact reasoning, right? So like I actually work as a host at a restaurant a couple days a week, mainly for the discount, but I also just really enjoy like interacting with the people and stuff like that. And yeah, what you find is that everything has just gone through the roof. And so people are looking at ways. Now, I do have a question for you, because like I said, in full disclosure, I have not utilized the app yet. And I look forward to when you have different kinds of recipes, or what the actual ingredient lists are and things like that. Are you able to actually feed it into the app? Like, here's the ingredient list for the 4 or 5 recipes, 6 recipes, whatever it is that I'm going to use this week. And it can help you conglomerate and make the list for you.
Exactly. So the way that I do it is I just take a photo of the rest of the ingredient list, and Stretch reads. We built a little AI reader on the back end that can read it and pull those ingredients out and turn it into your shopping list.
That's awesome. Well, that's super helpful, because I think, again, that's a lot of times where the mental gymnastics come in, right? Is that like you have these lists or whatever. Like, honestly, what I'm finding right now is my biggest struggle, and you're going to laugh so hard at me. So I have a freezer, actually several freezers full of food. And what happens is a lot of times is I need to do a better job of keeping an inventory of like what I actually have, so that as opposed to going and rebuying it at the store, I can just go pull it out of the freezer, right? Put it, to thaw, and then utilize that instead or whatever. And so a lot of times I find that it's so hard to remember. So I don't know if you guys do this at all, but it's something that you should consider, is getting somebody to be able to take an inventory of what they already hold, right? So that they kind of have an idea of like what they do and don't need to purchase. Because I'll give you an example. Like I told you beforehand, that the Passionate Penny Pincher, one of the things they do is that you literally pick the recipes you want. It dumps the groceries into your cart, but it's going to literally dump everything, including like parchment paper. Well, you may already have parchment paper at your house, right? Or saran wrap or foil, whatever it is, right? Okay. Like these are things you probably often buy in bulk for your items. And so I have to like go in there if I'm utilizing that app that day and deselect parchment paper, aluminum foil, whatever those kind of things are. Whereas, I think what you're creating is amazing. And I'm wondering if there's a way to pair with some of the things you already have, so that that brain can then be like, oh, hey, Jax, remember that, you likely already have this, and this.
Yep.
Double check before you go buy XYZ at the store, whatever the case.
Yeah. No, our head of product, she worked at Hungry Root, which is a meal prep company. as she helped build out their personalization. And so that was one of the things that we've talked a lot about is, what does it look like to have, your fridge and pantry inventory? Then to be able to say, hey, if this is what I already have, what's the least number of things I need to buy at the grocery store
Right.
to make 5 meals?
Right.
Right. And so when you kind of think about where, AI is going and it should be able to answer that question with, if this is, your inventory, what are some recipes that could utilize most of what you already have and maybe add a few fresh things just to pull it all together. So it's definitely something we're thinking about. And I'm excited that you had that idea too.
Yeah, no, I mean, and the reason that I'm thinking about this is that I'm kind of jokingly, but also seriously about to go on what I like to call the freezer cookout, which is basically that how many things can I cook from whatever's in my pantry and my freezer. And then, yes, agreed with you, adding a few fresh things, right? Like nobody wants to just eat, only staple and freezer related things, right? Like I want to add some fresh components. But it is really hard because, again, it takes a lot of mental energy, not only to just know what's in there, but then also like, how do I turn this into something? Like my dad, I mean, he's very blessed that like he can literally just like go in the freezer and like pull some crap out and make it into a meal. Sometimes I can do that. But again, for me, and I think this is what most people don't understand when it comes to financial mastery, period, it's the mental gymnastics that really is hard, right? It's not that cooking on its face is hard or making a shopping list is hard, going to the store and buying the things is hard, or even adding them to the cart for to have them be delivered or for pickup is hard. None of those things on its face by itself is hard. What is hard is what's happening in the back end where you have 800 things you're thinking about, right? What's going on with your kids, what's going on with your job, what's going on in your personal relationships, what's going on with the vacation you next want to take or whatever the case, right? All of this stuff. And then how do we, figure out how to master it in a way where we are going to be not only making our dollars stretch as far as we can, but also be in alignment for what it is we're looking to accomplish in life. And so that's really the challenge I find. It's not always that the general components are hard. It's the putting them all together and making them into one thing.
Stay tuned. We'll be back right after this message from our sponsors.
Imagine having the power to control your financial destiny, no matter where you start. Welcome to the Financial Mastery Simplified course and resource platform, where financial education is tailored to your unique journey. We cover everything you need, from basic budgeting and saving strategies to advanced investing and retirement planning. Learn at your own pace with lessons that match your level of experience. Whether you're a beginner or looking to enhance your financial knowledge, join our community of learners and benefit from shared insights and expert guidance. The Financial Mastery Simplified course and resource platform equips you with the skills and confidence to take charge of your financial future. Ready to master your finances? Enroll in our courses today at the Financial Mastery Simplified course and resource platform. Start your path to financial independence now.
Visit us at fms.tips and fms.college for more information.
Hello and welcome to PBJ Mortgage, where your home ownership dreams become reality. Today, we want to share why choosing PBJ Mortgage is the right choice for your home financing needs. At PBJ Mortgage, we're built on a foundation of values that drive us every day. Our commitment to educate, empathize, and empower our clients sets us apart in the mortgage industry. Our clients are at the heart of everything we do, and their success stories speak volumes. With years of experience, our team possesses in-depth knowledge of the mortgage programs, ensuring you receive expert guidance and the best possible rates. We offer a diverse range of loan options to suit your unique needs, including conventional, FHA, VA, and more. No matter your situation, we've got a solution. At PBJ Mortgage, we pride ourselves on providing personalized service. Our dedicated loan officers are here to guide you every step of the way, making the process as smooth as making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. We understand that time is of the essence, which is why we've streamlined our processes for efficiency and convenience. Transparency and clear communication are paramount. You'll always know where you stand throughout your mortgage journey. Reach out to us today to set up a call to discover your options. If you're ready to make your home ownership dreams a reality, Contact PBJ Mortgage today. Let us empower you during this exciting journey. Phone number 4-693-733-107 www.pbjteam.com. Visit our website or give us a call to get started. We look forward to helping you secure your future home. PBJ Mortgage, where home begins.
Thanks for your patience.
Yeah. It's simple, but it's not easy.
Yes, exactly. I like that. Very true.
We joke that, grocery shopping is the most expensive chore that everybody has to do.
It is.
And it's something that, I was at a grocery conference as you do when you're in the industry. And there's somebody on stage being like, everyone loves grocery shopping. Isn't it great to work in this industry? And I was like, who are you talking to? Who are you talking to?
A lot of people hate it. Like so many people, there's so much debate in like some groups I'm in on if you go buy the groceries yourself or if you have them delivered and like which one is better. And there's always the person who's like, I would never let anyone grocery shop for me, like point of pride. And there's the other person who was like, hell no, I hate going to the grocery
100%.
store. I do not want to do that.
Yeah. But it's also, you think about kind of the spectrum of shoppers, right? On one end, you've got somebody who has, let's just be honest, more money than they have time, right? Where, they're like, I will pay whatever it costs to have food waiting for me when I get home. Yep. You have people on the other end who have, sometimes more time than money, right? They'll clip the coupons, they'll download 7 apps, they'll jump through all the hoops to save some money. I think most people are in the middle.
Yes.
At least I know I am. I don't have extra time or extra money. And every day is a trade-off between the two, right? It's like which one am I going to sacrifice today? Okay, fine. I will pay for the convenience, but I'm going to pay extra, and I know how much I'm going to pay. Or you know what? I've got a little time. I'm going to go to 2 stores. I'm going to work the system. And it's going to take me a little more time, but I'll save a little bit of extra money. And I think that the trade-off is the part that I just think we should all need to be more honest with. It's like nobody has it set up perfectly. Nobody has it set up where it's just automatic and it just happens. Some people you can buy it, but even those people are getting ripped off, right? They're not checking prices. They're overpaying for things that they shouldn't. And so that's my hope is that this tool is going to be valuable for everybody.
No, I mean, absolutely. I think, and I agree with you. Like it's such a weird challenge because also a lot of times it has to do with what's going on in your life right at that exact moment too,
100%,
right? Like
100%.
And it's funny, like for instance, for myself, a lot of times, like we were joking about this the other day. So my husband and I, unfortunately, we like to spend. We tend to be on the more spending side than the more saving side. And so we always joke that whatever, I forget the level that Sam's Clubs call it, whatever level it is that they allow you to have stuff delivered to your house, that is a huge savings for us, not just because of the savings we make on the food or the things that we're buying, but because we then don't go into the store and buy extra stuff. Like, ooh, what is that we just walked
100%.
past and we saw or whatever. But I also can understand, like, there has been times where I've purchased things through that, and then the maybe some of the produce really wasn't as great as like what I had hoped for, and I would have done a better job like picking that out. But then I'm like, okay, but how much time would I have taken to go to the store? How many extra things would I have bought? And so I think that's a lot of times what people just don't realize too is that when it comes to financial mastery, period, you have to choose your hard, right? And I'm always about empowerment in general, and I'm always about simplifying, like using technology, like what you are creating and what you have created to figure out ways to simplify your life, right? So if you want to utilize what your app is to help organize you, to figure out exactly what store you want to go to, and then you physically go into the store and buy the things, amazing. Or use it to figure out which store you should buy everything from, go on their website, push all the stuff into, the cart, and then have it delivered or have it ready for pickup. So you just swing by, throw it all in your car and be done that way. There's a lot of like really great options and choices. I do have a question too, though. So if the person is like me, where you buy from multiple different stores, and that's, what I'm used to. So some people would hate that. Some people would only want one store to go to. I don't mind going to 2 or 3 different stores as long as they're not, way on $10 to other side of the country kind of situation. Do you get to give the algorithm, that the AI, that option of like, hey, it's okay for you to break it out into 2 or 3 different stores for me to purchase items from?
We are building that right now. So
Okay.
It'll be live by the end of the year, but that's
Okay.
one of the top requested options.
Yeah. Features.
And I think that the way that we're wanting to build that feature out is to also compare online stores. So your best list might be to have these 7 things delivered from Amazon Fresh,
Right.
and to go to Kroger for these 14 things.
Right.
And that might be your best list when you flesh it out.
Yeah, and that makes perfect sense. I mean, and that like I said, by itself is a huge thing, because I think a lot of people don't think that through either. I actually was going to ask your opinion, so this is interesting. You were making the comment earlier about the couponing aspect, and I think a lot of people do really, really well with it, and I definitely enjoy a good coupon, right? But there's literally people now like where you can actually go on Marketplace, and what these women do is, they're typically women, they're not always, but for the most part, they buy like as many things as they can or whatever, and then they have like a store in their garage, and they like allow people off of a Marketplace to like basically come and shop, so to speak. But as opposed to it being, whatever the regular price was, they are in the middle between like the crazy coupon price they got and like the regular store price.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, it just goes to show like there is opportunity everywhere.
For sure.
And and I think you just gotta be looking for it. And
yes,
we're excited that we found this opportunity, and we're thousands of families all across the country are already using the app. So it's been exciting. It's been exciting to see the response already.
So is it, how old is the company? When did you guys start this whole process?
We started last summer. And then we slowly have let people start using the app this year.
That's so cool. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think there's so many people that are kind of anti-AI. And I mean, I can kind of understand to a point, like I get it. We shouldn't be like outsourcing every single thing to computers, blah, blah, blah. But what I think a lot of people don't understand and or appreciate is when it comes to mastery, using technology is one of the bigger wins, right? So it's not about outsourcing power to it. It's about allowing it to simplify and doing a lot of that brain work, so that then you're making more high level decisions. Kind of think of it as you're going from the person boots on the ground at a company who is probably the lowest paid man on the totem pole to the CEO. Like the CEO, they're not doing all of the those little tiny typical things, but they are getting the information that has been provided from the bottom up, and then they're making high level decisions on how to best execute that for the company. And in this case, it would be for your life, right? How does that look from a financial standpoint there?
Yeah. No, I think it's incredible that we have supercomputers in our pockets, known as iPhones, and now we have super intelligence on our supercomputer phones in our pockets. And I think that the big jump I've seen people make is when you start treating AI not as like a glorified search engine, but as an opinionated intern.
Yes.
Right? Where like if you give it really good instructions, it can get to know how you like to work, why you like to work, what you like to do. And, as you said, do some of the things that you should no longer be doing. You can automate a lot of things. Like right before I got on this podcast, I hit send on a task. And by the time we get done with the podcast, it'll be waiting for me on my desk.
Right. Well, and I mean, I think that is such a huge thing, right? And like when we are talking about financial mastery simplified, when we are talking about, if you're experiencing transitions or things like that, I mean, utilizing stuff like Stretch to help you with some of the things that either maybe somebody else in your life used to do and now they're not there anymore to do, or something that maybe you've outgrown the task, right? It's just not something that brings you joy anymore to have to do that. I know that, like I said, there are a fair bit of people, they want to do it the old school way, and there's nothing wrong with that on its face, right? It's just, I know that like for me, I just have so many things going on in my life that even though as much as I do love to sit there and cook and make the list and go to the store and do all of these different things, it's not a realistic ask, right? Like I have a 4-year-old who is about to embark on her whole educational experience, as well as I have adult daughters, and I run a business, and I have a podcast, and. So at some point in time, something's got to give mentally on like what takes my attention. Is it making the grocery list and like figuring out all of that? Or is it spending time with my family, going out and spending time with the people that I love and care about, taking the opportunity to connect with people like you, things like that. And I think that that's a big mistake that people make too, is that they think AI the intention is to replace them or replace their brain. When in actuality, it really is to amplify you. It's to amplify what you're already able and capable of, and even add to that, right? And become, like you said, the smart intern to help you along the path.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think about everybody who said, Excel was going to kill the accountants. Still a lot of accountants out there, like it's a tool, it's a resource, and yes, is it more advanced than anything that's ever been built? For sure. But, have a pretty strong success rate in the history of humanity of new technology coming along, adapting. And, are there some jobs that are going to go away? For sure.
Right.
Have there always been jobs that are no longer, we don't have people lighting the lamps on the street anymore, So, there will be new jobs, but it's, I don't think it's going to be the horror story that is selling headlines and clickbait on the internet.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good point. And I think that there are just a lot of people that remember, I was having this conversation a couple of days ago about the internet being a fad. Do you remember that conversation back in like the 90s? Like, it's going to go away. It's like not going to be a thing. And I'm like, yeah, not really. So I kind of encourage those of you who may be listening who are a little bit afraid on the AI piece. It's okay to be, to have a little bit of a fear, a little bit of, being careful about how you're utilizing it. But I think the availability to take probably one of your largest line items. I mean, you have two really large line items every single month in your budget. One is your house, okay? And so if you need to figure out how to save money there, guess what? I'm your girl on that one. If you need to figure out how to save money on the grocery front or how to make sure that we're spending money in the wisest possible manner, it looks like that Andy is your guy on that front. He's going to be able to help you tick and tie things, which is, like I said, just such a huge win and such a blessing. And I can also appreciate why this started coming out of you having a child, because man, when you start looking at how much diapers and wipes and formula and
berries,
bottles and
so many berries.
Yeah, you're just like, holy cow. Well, and the fact that everybody knows having any kind of child, doesn't matter if they're a baby or getting older. Their very favorite thing was this last week, and then we've totally changed. We hate that thing. Whatever it was that they were eating
100%.
in scaves the week before, you're like, weren't blueberries just your favorite? Now you hate them? Okay, cool, great. I love that for us. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. As we're sort of coming to a close here, I know that you wanted to make an offer to tell them about how they can get involved with, I believe, your software for free. So tell them how they can do that.
Yeah, so stretchgroceries.com is our website. But if you go to either of the app stores for iPhone or for Android and just search Stretch Groceries, it's a free download. It will always be free for shoppers. This is not like you download it and then 3 days later we charge you $9.99. Free for shoppers because it doesn't make any sense to me to charge people money to save people money. Right? People need to save. This is a tool that's going to help them do that. So, but I think feedback is a gift. And so if I was going to charge you anything, that would be to give me feedback. That would be my ask is download the app, check it out, see how it works for you, see how it works for how you shop for groceries. We're expanding and growing all across the country. We have 30,000 grocery stores already on the platform.
Wow.
But we're adding more all the time. So if your favorite grocery store is not on the app just yet, let us know. We keep a running tally of all the ones that should be there. But it's a lot of fun, and it's pretty amazing to think about the power of a bunch of grocery shoppers coming together to say, I want transparency. I want to understand how much it's going to cost to feed my family. And we can do that together. So download the Stretch and send your feedback to me.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for being my guest today. And like I said, if you guys are experiencing, some stress, some hardship, or some transitions, this is a really good way to figure out, how do I get some of this down a little bit, right? How do I get myself into a more organized kind of pattern through this transition? And so thank you, Andy, so much for coming. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Financial Mastery Simplified, and we will see you next week on another episode of Financial Mastery Simplified.